even chin.
What is up, everybody?
Tea time, tea time, tea time.
We already have our tea. Woo! Clinky, clinky.
I need to make. Wait, I'll make my disclaimer at the beginning of the video.
You want to make your disclaimer now? Judge Evie has a disclaimer. What's up, Greg?
Okay, I know how much everyone likes my cool shirts, right?
Oh, we love your cool shirts.
I know I'm wearing the same shirt as last time, but it just came out of the dryer because I couldn't wear the shirt I was wearing before. But I did, like, I haven't worn this shirt in a week, and it's just coincidental that I'm wearing it.
It's coincidental.
Stop. So, I did change my shirt. I have gotten showers and stuff. I'm not gross and disgusting. Thank you.
With that note, welcome to the Walls Dungeon Tavern.
Yes, hello.
And we've got a wild night planned.
We haven't said what we are called.
Didn't we say I'm Judge James?
No, we did
not.
I'm
Judge James.
I'm Judge Evie.
I think we did say that.
No, we didn't.
I'm like
no, we didn't.
80% sure we said that. Well, guess what? For all 5 people currently watching, that's who we are.
That's who we are.
Wild night planned as we are taking aim tonight at power gamers, min-maxers, and most importantly, all those shoddy GMs, DMs, and judges who put up with that crap for way too long at their table. We've decided we're just going to be, I don't want to say explicit, but like, our language will be fine. But I think we're just going to start taking a more adversarial tack with everyone because obviously it's been more fun with us being just mean.
Yeah.
I do want to say, for anyone, I got some comments about how we treated a certain 5th edition player's handbook a few weeks ago.
Oh, wait, we got comments about that?
The book's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's resting well. If you didn't watch, go watch 2 weeks ago.
Did people comment about that?
I had some comments on Discord about it, yeah. When I threw it, it landed face up, and it was completely unharmed. So I guess hats off to Hasbro in production value and Wizards of the Coast in production value of the 5e Player's Handbook. It took getting chucked 5 feet and was totally survived.
5 feet.
I threw it pretty hard.
You did. You chucked it.
Well, I put all this stuff behind us because I thought I would share just what is going on in my gaming brain right now. Half of this is in your brain, right? What? Yeah, half this is in your brain because you aren't running as many games as I am, but at the present...
are you sure? I think I'm running more than you.
No, you're not. At the present, I am running Ryutama on Sundays. That's the game over here behind Evie's head. Move your head. That's Sundays. I'm running Ryutama. I run DCC Lankmar on Wednesdays now, and this is weekly. I'm running Fantasy Age with the Shrubs for them on Saturdays, and I'm running Fantasy Age for Cooper. Actually, if you can look off in the distance of your head, we are set up for the next Golden Doodle, the role-playing game. What is he doing there?
I don't know.
Well, the table is set up for our next Dwarven Forge excursion for both Fantasy Age and Frostgrave.
You're kicking me out. Oh, why'd the brightness just get so high?
I don't know.
Oh, my eyes.
That's weird.
Oh, it's so bright.
It's kind of bright. I'll turn the.
No, I want to turn it down.
We're good.
Why is your brightness at like full?
I don't know. And then now every other week I'm running. We're back to running East Texas University with our ETU gang. So that's what 4 systems in my brain.
Poking it.
That's crazy. So I hope all of you all have a lot of great gaming planned ahead of you. Also. For my reading challenge...
We're red.
I know, it's coming back. For my reading challenge, I just finished the Scott Pilgrim graphic novel series, and I'm now reading Myth of the Maker by Bruce Cordell, which is the...
Model.
Which is the novelization of the backstory for The Strange. This is an awesome Monty Cook Games book. This is one of my favorite settings of all time. You can use any setting with it. It is like, I don't know, Planescape meets Sliders meets, Planescape meets Sliders meets Alternity Dark Matter meets X-Files meets Fringe.
These.
What?
No one ordered
So that's
Wait,
that.
Why is it all wrapped up?
Because that one is my copy of Just in Case.
So you keep it wrapped. You just leave it just for spare.
Yes.
Why?
Just put it down. I have 2 others that aren't wrapped. Because sometimes spare books are important.
See, okay.
I thought we'd ask Judge Evie about her reading. How's your reading going, Judge Evie?
I'm reading one book.
One book. What are you reading? What's the book?
I'm gonna get hate though.
We're getting an e-reader. No, I don't like e-readers.
I'm reading this book about the show Riverdale, but it's like a prequel. It talks about what happened before. You know who would like this book? Brendan, because Brendan watches Riverdale.
I don't think Brendan's watching us right now.
Well, no, Brendan usually doesn't watch us. I'm talking about LaSalle Brendan.
I don't think Brendan's watching us right now.
I know, Brendan doesn't usually watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the video gaming side, I finally beat Final Fantasy VI yesterday on the Game Boy Advance, so that was cool.
I thought that was on the DS.
It was for Game Boy Advance. I was playing it on a DS because I can't focus my eyes on my old Game Boy Advance background. On that note, let's move to Judge Evie Presides. We have a lot of Judge Evie presiding this week. We're going to get up in the presiding.
I was told to think of answers, and I did.
We've had 4 questions tonight?
Yeah.
This is going to be very interactive. So
yes. Okay.
So let's start with.
Okay, the first one is from Georgia. Shoot. Okay.
Hi, Georgia.
Maldonado.
Maldonado. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Hi, Judge Evie and James. I've heard and seen a lot of tips and advice on how to be a better GM. What are some player qualities you appreciate? As a player, I'm interested in learning how to enhance the experience for the group.
Now it's
Thank
French.
you. Sincerely, Georgia.
I'm
Since
sure.
from my iPhone.
I don't think is Georgia French.
I don't think
you
so.
shifted into French.
Yes.
Okay, what are some player qualities that you like to see?
Energetic. That's good.
That's a good quality to have in a player.
So they're not boring.
Also very good.
Talkative to an extent.
To an extent, because too talkative can ruin the game.
Too talkative is bad, but no talkative is just awkward and boring.
You have to have some talkative.
Yeah.
Like 30% talkative.
Yeah. Okay. And then you want quiet chewers.
It's okay.
If you have a loud chewer at your table,
better make
it's so
sure
annoying.
those quiet chewers are in your games.
What if you get someone that's like smacking their gum the entire time?
You don't want. Georgia's here. And it says Latina, but what a great accent, Evie.
Thank you.
Thank you. You do the French accent, Evie.
Merci
beaucoup.
Merci.
All right, so you want energetic, 30% talkative, quiet chewers.
Yes.
Is there anything else besides that?
Well, I can think. Wait, okay.
So whatever gaming system you're playing, if you have a reward ability, and so that would be something like Fleeting Luck in DCC Lankmar, or Fortune in Shadow of the Demon Lord, or Benny's in the Savage Worlds. Extra of all of that to someone who, or Inspiration, I think it is, in 5e. Extra that for the quiet chewers.
Yes. Also, I have another one. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
I just had it. Good math abilities.
Okay.
So you can add your stuff up. And they can add their dice together.
I think we're good.
Wait, I'm not done.
No, I think we're done. I think we need to move on to the next question.
Okay, fine. Next question.
I was going to add something that I love is curiosity at the table. That a player,
that's good too.
And a player who's interested in propelling the story forward. Players who understand that the GM is there to have a good time also, and shows interest in the GM's story and helps drive the story forward. If the GM is giving you plot hooks, and it's one thing to explore them in a manner that's maybe unique, different, or interesting, but to totally ignore them, you're sort of telling the GM, I understand that you've written an adventure or put an adventure out here, but I don't really care about it, which understandably so. There are games like that, but if you're playing a more traditional RPG, let your GM have a little fun.
Yes.
Great question, Georgia. Thank you so much for sending it in.
Next question is from Eric Morgan, and I've been told to do this in a Scottish accent.
Oh my god, you can't do. Can you do a Scottish accent?
I gotta remember.
Brave.
Okay.
Do it. Are you singing the song from Brave? So yeah, all right. So go ahead, Scottish accent.
Wait,
yeah, that's exactly how they sound.
Can you give me a word?
No, I want to hear.
Please.
I want to hear you do the most authentic Scottish accent for this question.
Dear Judge Evie,
just keep going. It's fine.
I'm gonna need subscribers to catch up on the past episodes on YouTube. So forgive me if you have already had similar questions.
Not bad.
How strict are you on tracking party resources during an adventure? For example, light, ammunition, food, and water, spells, and rest. Why or why not? Also, have you ever created such a cool NPC that you wished afterwards you kept it for yourself as a new character idea? If not, have you ever had a character idea that has the judge rejected? Oh, that's the Scottish accent. Thanks, smiley face. Eric, come on.
Hi, Dr. Moggs. That's actually a really great question. But and as to you, so I think you need to.
That is true. Wait, I'm telling people to stop calling me. It's really annoying. Stop. Okay, we're gonna hope they don't call me anymore. People.
I will say, while Evie is gonna answer this question in a second, I rarely track resources, but in Ryutama, which I shared earlier, which is the game is pretty much about tracking resources, especially food and water, and carrying equipment and inventory, weight, and all that stuff. So if it's gamified enough, it can be interesting and fun. And I have had NPCs I wish it has a player, but I never play. So I think this is definitely more of your question, Evie.
Okay. So, the first question. I don't know what you said.
Dr. Mock said it's not bad, but you shouldn't do it again. The accent. Dang. All right, go ahead. Answer the question.
I'm going to do it again.
No, don't do it again. Just answer the question so we can move this forward.
Have the strict one, not strict. Why? I forget to track it.
You forget why you're not strict? Oh, you forget to track it. Well, you shouldn't be tracking it. Your player should be tracking it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be like, oh, you must track it. I'm too forgetful to do that. Anyway, that's my answer. And the other one... He's down here.
Oh, he is here. Yeah, because that's exactly what people want to see, is that stupid puppet as a player character.
I really wish that I could have played Caillou, as a player character. If
you don't know, Caillou is this horrific puppet that Evie made. Kind of looks like Caillou from the TV show.
It is Caillou from the TV show, but he's the bully.
And
oh my gosh! They've called me 6 times! Sorry.
Keep answering.
What do you...
I'm going to text them back.
How? It's a group chat.
I don't know.
I'm not even in the group
Answer
chat.
The question. Answer the question!
I did. Okay, so I really wish I could have played Caillou. And I kind of do, because when I run the game I run with him, I kind of play him around the table. But if I was playing him, it'd be really cool.
You're swinging this heavy head too close to the computer?
So it'd be really cool if you could play a game. If I could play a game as Caillou. If I could play a game as Caillou. And...
I think we're done with questions for tonight.
I still have one more, but I remember it. Okay. I think it would be really cool if I could play a game with a bunch of different characters like Caillou, like the Teletubbies and Dora and Diego.
Yes,
that would be such a cool game.
It was terrible. All right, put Caillou back. What's the last question?
The last question is from Greg, and I don't remember word for word, but basically it was like you've been playing RPG since you were in kindergarten. What life skills have you learned from playing, Greg?
And it's a question you've really thought of a lot because you have memorized. So I think that you need to share for the group here, what are some skills you've learned?
Oh, I've learned so many skills. Okay, my first skill.
learned no skills from RPG.
My first skill.
You're really promoting why people should have their kids play RPGs.
Okay, a good skill you learn different, like, things that you wouldn't, like, learn. Like, you learn, like... like, it expands your horizons and your knowledge.
This is the most generic answer ever.
Like, here, for example, it teaches you, like, your brain skills, like, your stats, like, those could be brain skills. Second, it teaches you to be more talkative and like, actually be able to talk and stuff and not, like, be like... Anyway, that's another one. What are you doing?
No, just keep my failures as a father being drawn forward. Keep talking. No. All that you've learned in the years of gaming. A talkative someone who doesn't do this, which is vogue, I think, right?
What? No.
A non-voguing, talkative person. That's what you've learned in all these years.
I'm sorry. I gotta think some more. Okay.
Give us one more thing. We're moving on. I already feel I feel like I'm failing. Go ahead.
What would you say?
That you've learned or that I've learned?
I don't know.
I mean, I've learned public speaking.
That's what I said. Talkative.
No, it's very different. Talkative means don't shut up. Public speaking means presenting to a crowd.
Well, I meant like that. That's what I meant in my head.
I've learned math skills. I have learned how to think on the fly.
I've learned that too.
I have learned...
You learned to be speedy.
How to deal with challenging people.
You learned how to be good people to not nice people.
How to express myself
management.
In story.
Time management.
We've learned a lot.
Yes.
Moving on. Good question, Greg. If you enjoyed hearing Judge Evie's take on things and occasionally my take on things, you could always send questions to this one at dccjudgeevie@gmail.com. And don't forget, you can always hit us a question on Twitter at ILive4Crits. We're always over there. All right, so time to take it and get a little real here. Tonight's episode is what about the underdog? And this is a question that a topic generated from a Twitter post of ours earlier this week. And the post was, in books and cinema, we root for the underdog. And yet when it comes to average or below average stats in tabletop RPGs, there's a false belief that low stat characters are boring or bad. And why? And I wanted to make this a topic after one of my players suggested that they were going to use point buy in a future DCC game. They know who they are because they don't want other players to have bad characters. And I believe they use that word bad or poor. I think this is my fault a little bit. For our DCC Lankmar game, so I guess that points out they're one of our players in DCC Lankmar. I allowed a slightly different mechanic for dice rolling, and we had two characters with fantastic stats. So good, I did allow two-player characters to boost their stats a bit, just because I thought it'd be interesting to try it, and then I think I'm giving the wrong impression of DCC in that for that matter.
Continue.
What are you doing?
I spelled my name wrong.
I've got a question for you in a second.
Sorry.
All right.
I had
to. What is your quick take on this substance? So, and I think we're going to expand this here and look at not just characters with low stats, but characters that have abilities or skill sets or other forms of game capital, feats, edges, talents that build up abilities and skills for role-playing purposes. So like weaponsmiths in the party, armorers, speakers. So these characters, what's your take, Evie, on the underdog characters at the table?
Like what do I think about them?
Yeah, like what your quick take on this subject in general.
I mean, I think being the underdog is honestly not that bad to me, because whenever I play the person with the crappy stats, it usually just still goes fine. Okay, I have two perspectives here, okay?
Sure.
First perspective, if you're doing a one-shot.
Okay.
Because it's different from if you're doing a campaign.
This is very true.
So if you're doing a one-shot, I think being an underdog isn't like the worst thing. It can honestly be kind of funny when everyone else is doing pretty good and you kind of suck. It's kind of funny if you're doing a one-shot. And then you laugh it off and then you leave and it's like never heard of again. But then if you're doing a campaign, and you're like the person that doesn't know what to do, then it's kind of like more like, oh no, I don't know what to do. Everyone's
But it's not what you have to
than
do.
me.
It means that you just don't have the some abilities that someone else has.
That's what I meant. It's
okay.
it's like, because then everyone else is doing like super cool and you can't do that stuff, and so you kind of feel like, oh no.
You can try super cool. You just may not.
It doesn't usually work.
Doesn't work as often.
That's my take.
So I think this is a two-pronged challenge. I think that on the player's side, there are players at the table potentially who are power gamers, min-maxers, and enjoy the game at the expense of the rest of the table. And then judges, DMs, and GMs, they're also to blame for this issue because they allow players at the table to fade into the background, or they penalize players for not playing the game instead of playing the role. And I don't know, I've seen this as more of a challenge with folks that are at D&D tables who already use the 46 drop the lowest in any order they want, or do point by stat building. I see they have more of a challenge with this. It's funny for groups of players that I know that really didn't like 4E because they tried to balance everything. You sure like that point buy system that kind of balances everything, doesn't it? So I don't think this is much a problem in the DCC community or OSR in general, because there's already an overlying social contract in these games that there's going to be some kind of swing and unbalance. So Shannon says he uses standard array for my campaigns in 5e, which is just like balancing anything else. It's just balance for the sake of balance. Especially standard array, man. I mean, standard array, it's like...
What's that?
That's when you say your stats are 15, 14, 13, 12... 10, 8, or something like that, and you get to put them in any order you want. You just pick. I mean, you were kind of raised on 3d6 in order.
Yeah.
Unless we play, I mean, Fantasy Age, you guys in this got effectively a point buy system.
That's true.
Which, in some ways, I know you liked for building characters. That was, enjoyable. But, let's see. Shannon says that way I don't have to worry about people rolling and getting better or worse. Well, I mean, what's wrong with the worse? Again, we love watching, like, folks, in movies and TV and books, we love the little guy, the Rocky Balboa who isn't the best and a little over the hill.
Or the Dunkleton and Tall Girl.
Yeah, the Dunkleton and Tall Girl. Or Ducky in what was that movie? What was Ducky in?
I have no idea.
That movie with...
No, I don't know.
With that girl.
There's a lot of girls in movies. I'm pretty sure there's a girl in like every movie.
I don't remember. Ducky. Let's see. Shannon says, personally, I don't care. My character in My Tree's game has a 4 intelligence. I'm guessing that came from rolling then and not from point buy. Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know. I think that players move to these, like feel the characters are poor because they've been or underpowered because that's the game they've come up in. If they've come up in just 3rd edition D&D and later, they haven't experienced players, characters that maybe aren't that great. And I think that some of my favorite characters have been characters with kind of crappy stats. You've had some characters with crappy stats.
Tis I have.
I know that none of the characters had good stats in our DCC Shutter Mountains campaign. Jeff stats weren't that great, I don't think.
They were not that good.
Now, your recent character, as we should, if you go back and you look at Judge Evie makes a DCC Lankmar character, you rolled, it was like a year ago, that episode.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
You did a 3d6 in order character who was knocked down, drag out, badass, and that does happen. Dr. Mogg says, after playing DCC, I realized building characters has nothing to do with stats. Now, I will say there are games where it does. And in those games, I think I look more of, what about the characters that don't have a crazy powerful build? So a player character who has chosen schools of magic like illusion and enchantment and Fantasy Age over things like shadow and fire, who wants to build a character who is more subtle and stealthy. Is that that still could be an underpowered character in combat and will be eclipsed by Judge Evie and her Shadow Knife spell, which you don't like.
I like Shadow Knife. I just think it gets boring after a while because I do it all the time, and I'll do something different.
Greg says the more role play in the campaign, the more influence a low stat character can have. And I think it's the adventure too. I think for adventures like published modules, I think certain game companies do a better job at writing adventures that are great for the whole spectrum of characters and balance. Goodman Games' Dungeon Crawl Classic series, while a lot of them definitely, if you're a crappy stat character, you may not do fantastic. A lot of their adventures are well suited for characters who it's the player bringing player knowledge and being thoughtful about the adventure. They're going to have a good time. They're going to do well. Monty Cook Games, they have a lot of their one shots in their instant adventures style books, weird discoveries, strange translations. I don't know. There's a few more of them. Explorer's Keys. Those adventures, it's not about the stats, it's about the story. And even though those games definitely have like a point buy type system for picking your pools, your stat pools, you still could play a character who's like, a beneficent who leads, which is not going to be the most powerful power gaming character in the game if you pick that build. So anyway, no other questions on that topic here. I do want to kind of wrap this. My thoughts here is that this really is the way to handle this, in my opinion, is that, for the GM and players is make sure all encounters include something that every player can contribute to. So if you are writing your adventure or you're tweaking a published module, think about who's at your table and who's showing up and who their characters are. And if you're not featuring something for all those characters, figure a way out to feature it. Yes. If it's online gaming, it is very easy to have a player fade to the background. Pull that player forward, especially if that player feels they don't have a character that's overpowered or superpowered, or better yet, if there are other player characters, if they brought a character to the table that's more powerful, then try to reach out more to the character who has a more subtle skill set, perhaps. And then celebrate their victories more than making fun of their failures. So, you know what that means?
Yes.
In general, I think this is a role-playing tip for all good judges, GMs, and DMs, is it's more important to celebrate the victories of your characters, even if they're fleeting or few, than to linger on the failures. And it's too easy sometimes, especially for younger gamers, to have there be some fun made of failures at the table, which could lead to players backing off and being quiet. If you want to know why that game at your table is quiet, maybe because they're new or maybe because they've had some poor role-playing experiences. And this is why I'm going to say the last thing here, and this is such an important thing to me, because a lot of my gaming in the 2000s was flush with this. I didn't know how to get rid of it, but stamp out power gamers and min-maxers. I friggin' hate that shit. I mean, players that just game the system to be the absolute be-all, end-all at the table.
Gross.
I don't think they have a place at the table, to be honest with you. A little min-maxing is fine, but if the rest of the table isn't doing that, like if your social contract at the table is that we're all going to build the most powerful characters ever, and there's games around that. Supers games where you're gods, games where everything is balanced, and maybe it's it's a very combat heavy game, but there's in those instances fine, go ahead and make this powerful character possible, but then the game scales to that. But if you've got like two players at your table that do the most damage of everyone else combined, well, what's the point of them doing anything? It just makes it worse. They're going to take skills and abilities that are less combat focused. See, now we have some comments. There we go.
Ayo.
But I can't. It ruined all of 3rd and 3.5 edition for me, power gaming, and did a power gamers at the table. I hated it. I had to if anything drives my dislike for certain types of D&D as the years have gone on. It's been dealing with players who look at the book as if it's some kind of like code to unlock to be the absolute best. I don't understand why you're role playing. It drives me nuts to the point where I just don't want to put up with that anymore, and I will find ways to torment those players so they're not at my table. Even more so, I don't invite them back to my tables. If you're a power gamer and you're going nuts and you're not in my campaigns anymore, it could be a reason why you're not in my campaigns anymore.
I just gotta say bye.
That was harsh. Sorry. Gordon Cooper says, power gaming is so boring for everyone. It's boring for everyone who's not power gaming. I'm sure power gamers are having a great time. But again, it's not about you. It's about we at the table. That's important. Let's see here. Savage Rob says, yes, exactly. Power gamers make me dread GMing. As you can see, Savage Rob is a Savage Worlds fan and awesome dude. And, you know, I gotta say that, like, you can build some non-min-max characters in Savage Worlds. I mean, in Savage Worlds, you can min-max some combat, some abilities and powers, obviously. And there is the possibility for Savage Worlds character building that can be just kind of crazy. But fortunately, our group that we have for East Texas University, there's none of that. But it's also a campaign not designed on combat. So, Dr. Moggs, loads of character customization is cool. It does tend to focus the player on the number side of things, though, rather than making an interesting personality for their character. This is why, like, when I first saw D&D 3rd edition, I loved that you could take skill points in things like weaponsmithing and crafting. You guys have that with your characters in Fantasy Age. Like, you have like, your character isn't just a spellcaster. What else do you do?
I'm a performer, dancer, singer, actor, everything. I'm a triple threat. That's what Bonnie is. Bonnie's a triple threat.
Bonnie, hashtag triple threat.
Hashtag.
I think that this is a place that Fantasy Age shines a bit. Fantasy Age, when you level, every other level you're focusing your focuses and your attribute increases to things that aren't in your primary attributes. So you aren't allowed to level up your main class abilities and stuff unless it's every other level. On the other levels, you are developing other aspects of your character, perhaps. So I really like Fantasy Age for that reason. Again, every week, this has really been the year for me. I don't know how you feel about it, of trying new RPGs, testing out new RPGs, and exploring some cool things.
Play more Fantasy Age, right? Than our normal DCC one?
I think this week, Fantasy Age, in terms of number of sessions for this one campaign, will eclipse DCC.
That's weird.
It is odd.
Does that count the ones we were doing in person? Did we do
if we
any
add
in
them
person?
all if we add them all up, then no. But if you,
it's gonna get there though.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah.
We had to move the game again. You guys, your friends all know that, right?
When did we move it to now?
Now it's 4 to 6 because of stage crew. Kids and their stuff. Interesting topic. Again, if you're a min-maxer or power gamer, and in general, why? I guess comment below. And if you want to send us some hate, go for it. I have a reason for more hate here in a second, so that's fine.
No.
All right. So if you have any other feedback on this, leave it in the comments. Email Judge Evie, whatever.
That's me.
Whatever you want to do. All right, moving on. Kickstarter shout-outs. We don't have any Kickstarter shout-outs right now that I can think of. I did want to make note that if you missed the tallest Kickstarter from Monty Cook Games earlier in the spring, I think there's still time to get in on the backer kit. They've been pushing that. It is out there for both Cypher System and D&D 5e, and they're hard at work at both versions. So if you prefer one system over the other, whatever book you get will be tailored towards that system. I think I'll be running it somewhat for Cypher System in an upcoming campaign when that book comes out. Only road crew shout this week is get in on Bride of Cyclops Con for Goodman Games, October 16th to 18th online. Event submission, I believe, is closed, but you can register for games still. My 2 DCC Lankmar events have only 1 seat left each, which I'm going to be okay with because I feel it's a game that does well with 4 players. Does really well with 4 players. I think anything more than 5 players becomes challenging for that game. So, all right. Anyway, moving on. because if The Rock did it, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, The Rock did it too?
The Rock did it too.
Oh,
so,
heck yeah.
I cannot speak for Judge Evie because she is her own person.
No, I'm in on this.
Okay, so because it's going to make a difference, and obviously we are the ones that are going to swing the tide in November. Living for crits. Well, I can't
vote.
You can't vote, but I'm hoping for crits from Joe Biden this year, and this is your political note here, so I can get all the shade and stuff below. But that's our feature organization for good, is JoeBiden.com, and all of the MAGA folk are free to share, hate, and unsubscribe accordingly.
Yep.
We don't care.
We really don't care.
Now, so on that note, we'll get some Joe hats maybe when we get closer. We're aviators. Where to find us elsewhere? I'm sorry, I'm on a roll.
I Live for Crits on Twitter, Living for Crits on Instagram, and search Living for Crits on YouTube.
So, on that note, stay safe, stay healthy, stay together, and I'm gonna say no power gamers allowed. It's like a villager. Come on, say something.
Should I just be a villager, but
sure.
ASMR?
Sure. Good night, everybody.
Night. Huh? You hit the wrong button, Dad.
I did.